another episode of Two Joes and a Pro. As always, you have your hosts, Kenny, Ryan, and Brian. My guys,
For now. For now, we
for
got
now,
Brian.
yeah, for now. Oh, for now. Uh, but my guys, I was just before we get into the greater things, let me start off by saying Happy Veterans Day to you guys. I know you guys are veterans, so Happy Veterans Day to you
You
guys, and
too.
Happy
You
Veterans
too.
Day
Yeah,
to
you too.
all the other veterans out there. We appreciate you guys' service, your sacrifice, and let's get to it. Right. So recapping NBA, um, I'm gonna hit on the only thing in the NBA. Actually, no, this is the top thing in NBA, which is Steph Curry. He's been playing on a different stratosphere right now. He's pretty much just throwing the ball up, crossing half court, throwing the ball up, and it's going in. I don't know what shooting school this man goes to or what he does in his spare
Mhm.
time, but he's shooting ungodly. So I want to start off by talking about him. They're 9-1 right now, the best team in the NBA, clearly, just because he's playing out of this world. And then everybody else in the West, it's kind of just like win a game here, lose a game here. It's kind of up in the air. I know Utah is doing what Utah does, playing great in the regular season, and they're probably flopping in playoffs. But yeah, that's the greatest thing in the West is going to be Steph Curry, and then behind him is going to be Ja Morant. If Steph Curry wasn't playing how he is, sorry, Ja Morant would be the guy because he is literally doing everything, shooting pretty well from the field, highlight plays, doing it all in that regards. And then on the East, we have the Heat in first place, 7-3, tied with the Bulls as well at 7-3. He's kind of going under the radar, man. A lot of people kind of sleeping on the Heat because of what the Bulls are doing. They're kind of like must see TV right now. If you just watch their pace of play and how they go up and down the field, it's kind of or how the court is it's exciting to watch, right? DeMar DeRozan is shooting really good. Zach LaVine is playing off the ball really good. Lonzo Ball is shooting pretty good from the three, and he's kind of dishing the ball around. Then you got Alex Caruso. Like I said, every week he's just like a lightning ball of fire, right? So that's what we have in the NBA. Of course, the rookies have been doing what they do. Still, Evan Mobley is balling. Kate Cunningham is coming on of late. Um, Jalen Green from Houston. They're not going to win a lot of games, but watching him play, he's super explosive. He reminds me of like a little bit more explosive Westbrook. Like when Westbrook was coming in and he was just dunking all over the place. That's what Jalen Green looks like right now. But he's kind of like jumping a little bit higher in my opinion. But he's a nice little young player coming up as well. And then we'll just transition straight into the NCAA unless you guys somebody have something to cap off, okay? But we'll transition to the NBA with Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga, who's most likely going to be the number one pick next year for the NBA. If you guys are not tracking, they call him the White Unicorn. He's like I think he's 7'1". No, really, they call him White
Yeah.
Unicorn. I
Yeah, I
think
know.
he's
I know.
7'1", a blocking machine. He can hoop, shoot, dribble. Like Youngin got it. He has the tool set. Him and Amani Bates at Memphis, they're gonna be like who's everybody's looking forward to watching this year coming out. And then I'm looking forward to them playing on Saturday. They play against Texas, which should be a good game. It's Chris Beard first game from Texas Tech, so that should be a good game. Gonzaga versus Texas. Um, Duke, John Shire, I think how you say his name. He replaced Coach K at Duke. He got his first win yesterday um, against Kentucky, or this week versus Kentucky, 79-71, and then Kansas still doing what they do. They beat Michigan State. So that's all I got for NBA and NCAA.
All
Mm.
right. I just have a quick thing that I forgot to mention last week in baseball.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
Too
the
late.
Jerry Remy, he passed away. He was a second baseman for the Red Sox, and he was their announcer or color guy, I guess you would call it, um, the play by play guy. And for probably since like I think like the '90s. He's a childhood thing for me, so I just wanted to mention that real quick.
Because he's a Red Sox.
Well, yeah, it hits home for me. Okay,
I understand.
he was never like a Hall of Fame player or anything, but he's a Red Sox great.
Okay.
Just he's legendary for Red Sox fans. So just wanted to mention that. But and then also in baseball, any team that had to issue qualifying offers had to do it by now. So like basically what a qualifying offer is for anybody that doesn't know, you give an offer to a player. If they then decide to go and sign with a different team, it's kind of like restricted free agent. Then you get draft pick compensation for them. So, um,
That's pretty
and
cool.
then yeah, and anybody that was on an option for their deals, they had to opt in already. Like they had to decide that by I think it's like 5 days after the season ends. So it's like quick. They have to decide that because baseball has the longest off season of all the sports. It's crazy, and they
The
do
most
nothing
games.
until the last second. So it's weird.
How valuable are the picks in the draft?
It's probably the biggest crapshoot of all sports because you can have a player that is drafted in like the 12th round, and he can end up being an all-star. It's just different with baseball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a
Don't they
streak.
draft rights to players that like aren't even going to play the sport? Like a lot
Yep.
of NFL players like get drafted and then they'll never play for that team.
Yeah, of course we know Kyler Murray
Kyler
and
Murray, yeah.
Russell Wilson was drafted. Tom Brady was drafted. He was a catcher for the Expos. For those that don't know, yeah, just they do that because John Elway is probably the biggest one of the biggest ones because he turned down baseball to go with football after he got traded to the Broncos. But if the Colts hadn't traded him, he would have gone and played baseball. So, or at least that's what he was threatening. But yeah, you that's why it's such a crapshoot. Like you don't know. You can draft all these guys out of high school. They could turn around and be like, "No, I'm going to go to college," and then you've wasted your draft pick basically.
Same thing with Bo Jackson. Yeah, just figure
So-
out to add my little. Everybody's gonna add their baseball.
Way to
team.
go,
Let
bud.
let me throw mine in. Bo Jackson. He want to play for the Bucks. Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, anyways, listen, I know I promised a little bit of hockey talk. I'm not ready for that. It's too early in the season. Get back to me next week, okay? Like, not much is happening yet. It's a long season. Like, I think the Bruins played like 2 games in like a span of a week. They don't even play that often. It's crazy. But yeah. So college football, we'll just recap that because I know some football. All right, so we'll get to that.
Stick on what you know. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, anyways, the college football playoffs, they re-ranked the teams after last week. You got Georgia at 1, Alabama 2, Oregon 3, and Ohio State at number 4.
Woo-hoo.
Cincinnati still on the outside looking in. However, I don't really disagree with that at this point, even though they are undefeated. But they struggled last week against Tulsa. I think they only won by 8, if I remember right. So, you have to take care of those weak teams. I'm sorry. If that's all you're playing and you're not playing any powerhouse teams, you have to demolish teams if you want to have a chance to get in the playoffs. That's just the way the system works right now. Sorry, Cincinnati fans. Now you're hoping that one of these teams ahead of you loses, specifically Alabama, since they already lost to an unranked team.
No, we're not losing, bro.
I mean, y'all could lose to Georgia. You think
said-
that would drop you all out?
No, if we lose to Georgia, they're number 1 team. If we lose to the number 1 team, we're not going to drop to 5 out of it, right? We
Why?
lost to because we lost to the number 1 team. It's not like we lost to a number 5 team or whatever. We lost to the number 1 team.
But you also lost to unranked Texas A&M.
Are they unranked right now?
They were
Are they
unranked at the time.
Are they unranked right now?
Oh, so when they
Are
go
they
back,
unranked right now?
no. But when you go back into
Are
strength
they
of schedule,
unranked
they
right
go
now?
by what they were ranked at the time.
Texas A&M lost 3 quarterbacks. They're on the third. My bad. They lost 2 quarterbacks. They're on the 3rd string quarterback. So people are like, "Oh my God, they're trash." What are they right now? What are they ranked right now? What are they ranked right now?
What is it, like 12th or something like that?
12. Oh, 12 or something like that? 12. We ain't hear nobody talk trash no more. We ain't hear no Texas Tech coming in and smacking people here. Smack. We ain't hear nobody say nothing no more.
I'm just
Okay.
pointing out facts, Kenny, because
Okay.
when people argue on strength of schedule, they go off of what that team was ranked at the time.
Listen, You don't argue anything that has to deal with SEC, right? Stick to that Big Ten bull crap, okay? The bull crap Big Ten that's not doing jack squat, right? You guys are beating up on each other, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, they're good teams. They're all good teams." They suck.
Okay.
They suck.
You need
The only team that's decent is maybe Ohio State. Michigan State got their ass. I'm sorry. Let me keep my language.
No, you good?
Got
Good?
smacked by Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue.
Right? People are talking all this junk. Oh, Michigan. They got smacked by doggone. Or they didn't get smacked. They lost to Michigan State. Then Michigan State comes in next week and get their ass smacked by doggone Purdue. And then Iowa, the number 2 team in the country, get their ass smacked by Purdue too. So Purdue's the best team in the Big Ten? Is Purdue the best team in the Big Ten?
Because they've also lost 3 times.
Exactly. They're 6-3, number 19 team in the country. But that's your powerhouse. That's your king? That's
Ohio
king?
State's our king.
That's what I'm
Come
saying.
on now.
Cut it out. Anyway, continue. Don't get me on the tangent. Don't talk about doggone strength of schedule. You guys got one of the weakest conferences known to man, but y'all want to act like you guys are it.
What are you talking about? One of the weakest conferences.
Man, the Big Ten is overrated.
Happens.
The Big Ten is overrated. Stop it. Cut it out.
Okay.
They're not overrated? They're not overrated?
No.
How?
Who's a better conference?
You guys played, since you want to talk about, at the time, you guys played Ohio State. Your king played Oregon, got ass smacked. Pac-12, who's supposed to be a lesser conference than y'all.
Yeah, that's the same Oregon team as number 3 team right now, right? Let's go with your argument. They're the number 3 team right now.
What were they at the time? Remember,
it doesn't look like a bad loss now, does it, Kenny?
What did you say at the time?
What did you say? And that's better than the 12th ranked team, right? That Alabama lost to. So I think by that metric, I guess Ohio State should be above Alabama.
I guarantee
I rest my case.
I guarantee Texas A&M doesn't end up at 12 at the end of the season.
Where are they going to end up? They're going to be in the top 10?
They're going to be top 6.
Top 6?
Yeah, they'll be in the top 6. If they don't play Alabama again.
I mean, but who else is on their schedule? I mean,
they don't have anybody else on their schedule that's going to be. I know.
But they're not going to play in the conference championships, so that's going to lower them compared to other teams.
Because they're going to still, if you look at their record is going to look good, and they have an Alabama win. They're going to keep chopping away, and they're going to put them, as long as they win the SEC, they're going to put them above a lot of teams. But don't let me take your segment, okay? You have college football. I don't want to steal your shine. Don't let me outshine you with the SEC talk, okay? Continue, please.
Anyways,
who do you think has more teams in the top 25, SEC or Big Ten?
SEC. It's not even a question.
because they're biased to the SEC.
Oh, now we're biased. We're biased. You guys as powerhouses is losing to Purdue, but we're biased.
Wait, which one are we looking at? The AP poll?
Listen, that's the Michigan team, okay? That's why. Michigan teams suck. You want to talk about Ohio State? They ain't going to lose to Purdue. They got them this week. And we're going to take care of business. We're going to show the Big Ten how it's done.
Okay. Big Ten has 3 teams in the top 10. SEC has 2.
What I don't get what your point was saying that. Michigan lost to Michigan State, and both of them are a lesser team than Purdue, who's number 19. Sorry. Continue.
I mean, I don't think we know that.
We're not carrying on. Continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that doesn't support his agenda, Ryan.
It's not about supporting my agenda. We're talking about Michigan State. We're talking about a Michigan State team that just lost to Purdue, but the week before Michigan State beat Michigan. So what are we saying?
What do you mean? What are we saying? There's 3 Big Ten teams in the top 10. There's only 2 SEC teams in the top 10.
Both of them have 1 loss. Of course, you're not going to drop out with 1 loss. Yeah, you're going to stay. If you were number 3 and number 4 in the country, of course you're going to drop to number 7 and number 8. I get it. I'm sorry. Okay. I get it. Drake voice. Go ahead.
All right. Well, anyways, the only big matchup this past week was Auburn and A&M. A&M handled business. They took care of the business 20-3. The only upset
is Auburn ranked?
Auburn? They were 13th. I don't know what they are right now.
All right.
They're 16 right now.
Oh,
yeah. Well, I guess that's what happens when you lose. You know, you only drop 3. But if it was a Big Ten team, they would drop 10. So
not Michigan. Look what they're ranked.
Hey Ryan, you got the rankings up, right? Where's Mississippi State at right now? Because they got lost. They lost to Arkansas's weak ass.
But they were ranked 25. Sorry.
Continue. Yeah, now they are because they just beat Mississippi State.
We're taking
That's the
too much
thing,
time.
is when you
I'm
take
not gonna
these
keep.
wins
I'm
into
not gonna keep
consideration,
chopping at
it's
the wood
where
and
they're
knocking the
ranked
tree
at the
down.
time.
I'm not gonna keep chopping at the wood and knocking the tree down. Okay, because at this point, I got a Christmas tree. I'm building out here. Okay, it's too easy. Continue. SEC,
Anyways,
SEC,
oh
SEC.
man,
Let's go, man.
let's
I'm
just
teed.
look.
Don't get me teed up. Just finish. Don't get me
Listen,
teed
all
up.
right. This week, big games to look out for are going to be Purdue at Ohio State. Ohio State's going to clean up on that. They are favored by 20.5 right now on the spread. So, Kenny, are you going to take that bet? You probably will because you're sick. You're
I'm not.
sick.
I'm not touching anything that Purdue touches. They got the
Well, that's
United
good.
States right now.
You've learned your
I wouldn't
lesson.
even. I was gonna bet on Ohio State, but I don't believe in the Big Ten.
Ah,
If
okay.
it was SEC, we knew. I know we'll
Now,
get it done.
now listen. Alabama has a very tough game this week. They have to
Mhm.
play at home against New Mexico State. So, they're only 51.5 point favorites right now. Watch out. Okay.
We might not
Yeah.
cover.
That tough schedule that the SEC has to play. I'm telling you. But anyways, you got number 8 Oklahoma taking on number 13 Baylor. Oklahoma's number 8 and they're undefeated, so this will be a good, matchup for them if they can beat Baylor at home at Baylor, then that will probably rocket them up.
Yeah, that'll be the
Maybe
game of the week for sure. In my
maybe in
opinion.
the top 4. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. And then another big matchup, we got number 11 A&M. I thought they were 12. They're number 11, and they're at Ole Miss. So we'll see what happens there. That's gonna be another good game. They're both 7-2 teams, so we'll see what happens. And then, I mean, if you're interested in ACC stuff, I guess I gotta mention it.
Yeah.
NC State at Wake Forest. Wake Forest got upset last week. I forgot to mention that by North Carolina. Uh, so that was a bad loss for them. They're probably not going to rebound from that.
They've been turning it up late. Like in NC, North Carolina, my bad. In North
Oh,
Carolina, they've
and
been turning it up
yeah,
late. Yeah,
I mean
NC
that's
State. I think they'll take care of business.
that's fair and all, but it just goes to show that the ACC is just
This week.
not there this week. I mean this year.
Yeah.
So
Shout out my boy Corey. Go ahead, ball out.
all right, that's all. That's really all I got. If anybody else has anything to add,
I have nothing to add.
okay.
I think you've added enough, Kenny. My
Damn.
goodness. You just you're like, hey Brian, why don't you cover NCAA this week? And then he starts going, he's like, and then you just go in at his throat. It's like you had it all teed up and ready to go.
Because
He doesn't like my flavor.
He's being disrespectful to the SEC.
He's
Just
know
put
what I mean?
facts out there, Kenny.
No. Go ahead, Ryan. Talk because we'll
All right.
continue for 15 other minutes with me proving him wrong.
All right, so this week I'm gonna head down some of the major stuff. Not a ton going on. Sam Darnold's headed to IR. He'll be out 4 to 6 weeks with
For
a shoulder
real?
injury. Yeah.
Let's go, PJ.
So it's PJ time. Yeah.
Let's go,
So,
P.
So that'll be interesting to see. Hopefully there's some pretty good stuff going on. Their offense has been pretty stale the last 3 to 4 weeks. So I don't know if it's like Sam Darnold's just injured and hasn't been able to do what he was doing in the beginning of the year, but like players like DJ Moore have not been doing well. They absolutely miss Christian McCaffrey. He didn't have a great game last week, but still enough to do what he was always doing. So we'll see what
Listen.
happens there.
Listen, I'm baffled because I've never heard of a player or anyone really being hurt by ghosts. So I really hope Sam Darnold is okay. I know it was a scary time out there, seeing those ghosts. So yeah, he sucks against
Well,
the Patriots. I don't know what Matt Rule's doing. That he should have started PJ Walker. PJ Walker took all the first team reps all week. Just go with him. Sam sucks. Just get rid of him. There you go, Coach Rule. I got a little advice for you.
I plead the fifth.
oh my goodness.
Hey, look, they might as well let PJ play the rest of the year and see what they got because he's coming up on a contract. So you can make your decision there. Hey, is he for this team or not? And you can get rid of Sam because either way, either you like PJ or you gotta go get another quarterback because Sam Darnold is not the answer. And clearly, This means that Adam Gase might not have been as terrible as everybody thinks he was. Maybe it was Sam Darnold.
Look at
Let's not
Ryan's
get
face.
let's not get
carried away.
like you could say all you want about Sam Darnold, but like if you start bringing in Adam Gase being remotely an effective coach, I will literally throw up on camera. Like
I just want to see those eyes out there, you know.
it's just, yeah. I know I don't know, Kenny, you had a chance to look at the play with Mac Jones just since we're talking about that game. Mac Jones gets sack fumbled. He's obviously knocked crazy. He doesn't know what he's doing. He grabs a hold of Brian Burns' ankle, and then supposedly he assumes that Brian Burns has the ball, so he twists him down, twists his ankle, and then so like the defensive ends are saying that it was a dirty play by Mac Jones, and then Mac Jones is saying that he's just trying to make a tackle. Give us the inside scoop, Kenny. What's going on? What do you think happened here? Do you think it was a dirty play? I think it was a dirty play by Mac Jones. Brian thinks it was not a dirty play. He was just trying to make a tackle. You have to break the tie, and I need your answer now.
Oh man. Watching the film, I'm going to lean on the side that say it wasn't a dirty play. Only because he's laying on the ground, right? And I know Hassan said he thinks it is, but he's laying on the ground and he can't see. He sees a pile and he sees Burns like fighting, right? So he thinks, okay, maybe he has the ball. I have to get him down. If I let him go, listen, think about it. If you let him go and he does have the ball, touchdown. So now your fumble goes from being a fumble to now as a sack fumble, touchdown. So I was like, yeah, I'm twisting. It wasn't like he was sitting there like wrenching his ankle. He just tried to twist and turn. He's like, how else am I going to get him down? He's dragging me. There's no other way I can get him down. So I'm.
He was staring. He was staring. He saw the. He was trying to get. He was trying to stop him from getting to the ball. He knew he didn't have the ball.
Okay. Either way. So.
And he twisted his ankle down.
If you're
Who tackles like that?
Think about it. If you're on the field and you're laying on the ground, what are you going to do? Are you going to let him go? You going to let Burns go?
No. And you just got rocked. Like, don't pretend like he's not seeing a little bit of stars.
It doesn't matter if he's seeing the stars or not. Are you going to let him go, Ryan? I'm gonna put the fire back on you. If you got sacked fumble, you lost the ball, right? You're in the NFL. You're going to let the player go? Are you going to let the player go?
I would not turn his ankle into the ground.
How are you going to?
Would I let go? I'm not going to get him down. I don't think he has the. I know he doesn't have the ball because I'm staring right at the ball. Mac Jones was staring at the ball.
So you're gonna still hold his leg and let him donkey kick you?
I mean, you did. That's better than twisting his ankle down to the ground. And also, I probably do let him go if I'm a franchise quarterback. I let him go.
What?
You're assuming though that he saw where the ball was.
That's what you're doing.
Like, you don't know what he saw.
You're seeing from a top area view. He's on the ground. If you're on the ground, if you fumble the ball and you looking forward, you can't tell if the person has the ball or not unless it's nobody there. It's a
He's got plausible deniability, sure.
Okay.
But what if he turns over and he gets injured because he's trying to make a tackle?
Football, bro. He's gonna get injured regardless. If he's gonna get injured, he's gonna get injured regardless. That's my.
This is not like a Cam Newton Super Bowl thing where he should have dove in at the ball instead of just letting them. Like, remember when he backed up and he let Von Miller get in there?
Listen,
you would have not twisted his ankle. I would have twisted his ankle.
Listen, let's just choose to reserve judgment. Let's see if he ever has a play like that again. Because that's how you can tell if someone's actually dirty or not. They will do it again.
If he did it one time, it's not a dirty play, in my opinion, right?
I know.
I don't think he maliciously is sitting there trying to twist his ankle to hurt him. I think he's trying to get him down, and is it, right? Then after he got up, he didn't come here and try to mush him or say something later or nothing like that. So, like, you just got to.
AJ McCarron would never do that. Just saying.
AJ McCarron ain't a winner like him either.
I mean,
facts.
Okay. Well, AJ McCarron wasn't on a. Never mind. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
All right. So more football. Kyler Murray and D Hop both did not play in their game, but that did not stop the Cardinals from stomping on the 49ers. I think I kind of said this earlier when we talked about this division a couple weeks, like maybe a month ago, where I said the 49ers are not that good. I don't think that they're going to be able to keep up with people in this division. I thought they were going to be the outside looking in on this division, and I know Brian had some difference of opinions because Garoppolo is a winner and he just wins game, but they just don't look. I don't know what it is. They just don't look good. Maybe it's their defense. Maybe they're not healthy on offense.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah. So 49ers look rough right now, and the Cardinals look like they can do no wrong. So it doesn't matter who they have out there. Apparently they can win games because they didn't have AJ Green either.
Talk about Colt McCoy looking like he was back at Texas.
Yeah.
The boy turned back the clock.
Insane. We talked about OBJ last week, not going to. He got excused from one practice, and then I think by the time we did the episode, he was excused from the Thursday practice, and it was looking more and more likely like he was going to get released, and he did get released officially. I thought I heard somewhere that they were trying to restructure. Yeah, they were trying to restructure his deal, but they didn't end up doing that. So they had to eat the rest of the money. I think it was like $7 million. But he cleared waivers and no team picked him up. I imagine that's because Odell was like, I want to pick where I go. So if anyone picks me, I'm just not going to play. And but I mean, that's just me speculating. So he cleared waivers and no one picked up his salary. Either that or they just didn't want to pick up the $7 million.
Yeah. Why would you want to pick up the $7 million when you can get it from a discount a couple days later?
I think the only team that really he might have played for that could afford him was Seattle.
Seattle, yeah.
So,
but apparently they let him go. So the sweepstakes right now is Patriots, Packers, Saints. Is there one more? And then maybe Seattle is in there.
Yeah, I was just trying.
But as of right now, it's looking like he'll probably sign with the Patriots unless someone comes in and like swoops him up. Apparently, the Patriots have worked out some sort of deal with him. But I think if I'm Odell, I wouldn't mind going to the Patriots because it's a winning culture and they're in a good position right now to potentially make the playoffs. They don't have any offensive weapons, and he'd be the lead guy on that team. If he goes to the Packers, you are playing second fiddle to Devontae Adams, but like you're also playing with one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Yeah, thoughts on like what you guys prefer what team you prefer him going to?
I know Brian's going to say the Patriots, right? So I would just touch on the Packers because I know he's going to speak on anything that involves the Patriots. I would go to the Packers only because I'm playing second fiddle, right? But guess what that's doing? I'm going to actually be free.
Yeah,
right? I'm going to be free to go one-on-one, right? And Aaron Rodgers, while he loves his some D Adams, right? Some Devontae, but he also is a smart quarterback where he's going to get the ball to whoever is open. So if Devontae Adams is a 17 target day, he gets 17 targets, but it's only 7 targets for D Adams, and if somebody else eats like Alan Lazard or somebody else in that regards, he's going to get the ball to whoever is open, right? And we've seen it time after time again, right? So like I can see him plugging in right there and be like, okay, cool. I'm a one-on-one matchup. Now teams have to choose and make them even more dangerous because it's like now he actually has a legit weapon. Now, no, offense to Alan Lazard or Valdez Scotland, but they not Odell. So if I can get busy in that regards, it's a no-brainer. So I know Brian's going to touch on the Patriots, of course.
Yeah. I don't know why the Saints are even on his list, honestly, because their quarterback situation is garbo.
Exactly.
But
because New Orleans, because he's from there.
Okay, but true. But still, I mean, if he says he wants to go to a winning team, I mean, I don't know. Oh, I think the Chiefs were on that list too, Ryan.
Oh yeah, they're on the list. Yeah,
I would never go there.
They look like a mess right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they have enough weapons as it is. He would definitely be third fiddle there, so he shouldn't go there.
And they can't get the ball to their weapons.
Exactly, and yeah. But anyways, yeah, I mean,
I would go to the Browns. Oh wait.
Listen, me personally, I would not mind Odell coming to the Patriots. Of course, he would be hands down the best target they've had in a long time for any quarterback, really. But he'd have to check his ego at the door.
He doesn't have
well, but it's perceived that he does, and that his ego is why he left the Browns. You know, he complained about not getting the ball. He has to be okay with not getting the ball in the Patriots offense as it is right now, because they might just have a game like last week where they're just mostly running the ball and controlling the clock and controlling field position, and they just want to get the win. And he, as long as he's okay with that, I'm sure Belichick will be fine with having him on the team. And there will be games where he gets a lot of targets, you know, but he has to understand that if he comes to the New England Patriots, it's a developing offense. It's not prime yet. It's not where it's gonna be, you know, soon, or even maybe not even this year. It all depends on the development of the quarterback. So, and from the Patriots aspect, they could bring him in, and it could be like a 1 year tryout where they decide if they want to re-sign him for a longer deal. Like they'd be like, okay, we can see if this guy works, and if he works, cool. We'll try to work out some long-term deal with him, and if not, well, we tried it and part ways at the end of the year. So, I think it's kind of win-win both ways for both the player and the team. So,
All right, man. And then I figured
All right, man.
you'd want to talk. Whatever. Giants aren't getting them. All right, quick hit. David Bakhtiari is coming off of the pup, so he should be eligible to play this weekend. So that's good for if you're a Packers fan. Rodgers his status is still up in the air. He doesn't. I think I was reading. He doesn't have to have a negative test. He just has to have like no symptoms, no fever, and like be cleared by the medical doctor to play, basically, or the team doctor to play. Regardless, they might be without Rodgers again because I think his 10-day period is like Saturday. So he's the type that doesn't need a week of practice to come in and play for that team. He's been playing in that offense for a while now. More COVID news. The Packers were fined $300K, which is a drop in the bucket for the team. But Rodgers was fined $14K for missing some COVID protocol stuff, and Alan Lazard was also fined as well for COVID protocol stuff, $14,000, which I'm sure is more of an impact to Alan Lazard than it is for Aaron Rodgers.
No,
No,
it's nothing.
all right, it's nothing. All right, well,
14K is nothing.
hook me up, bro. Hook me up.
I'm
Nick
not saying
Chubb.
it's nothing. I'm saying for him, it's nothing.
Nick Chubb and Felton, the two running backs, tested positive for COVID. But luckily for the Browns, they were able to isolate it to only two of their three running backs. So I don't know how COVID works, and like how does two of the running backs get test positive for COVID, but Dearness Johnson is like fine, and he's also a running back in the same running back room in the same meetings, but he's fine. Anyways, Chubb could still play this weekend because he only needs 2 negative tests within a 24-hour span because him and Felton are both vaccinated, so they might be potentially good for this week. And then the only other thing I wanted to catch up on is the Dalvin Cook lawsuit stuff going on right now. So I know we try and stick to straight football, but it also ties in with Veterans Day because the woman he was dating is a Sergeant First Class in the U.S. Army that the charges are against it. But there was a report that came out that she's pressing charges against him for domestic violence, leaving her with a concussion and a scar on her face. And then there's like drama between it first came out that he was the one that was receiving emotional abuse and physical violence. And then the report from Adam Schefter from Dalvin Cook's lawyer listed out that like she came into the house and like started punching him in the face and like was spraying mace in his face and two of his guests. And then he was providing self-defense, and then that's when she got the cut and stuff like that. So I mean, all of this stuff, like, let the legal stuff figure its own self out. But I wonder how the NFL is going to handle it in terms of like dealing out punishments, because like, Lord knows, like, even though they're going through legal issues, like the NFL likes to make their own judgment but it'll take probably till next year before any type of suspension or anything is handed out because the NFL takes forever to do investigations. I think they're still investigating like Antonio Brown and his stuff, and he's playing games. Well,
Yeah,
not
I
right now
mean,
because
but usually don't they usually let the legal process play out first before they even step in.
yeah, well they have to
So
do their investigation. So
yeah,
that's it. I won't cover anything more because I don't want to. I don't want to take too much time because like we could talk about how disappointing the Bills have been with their loss against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know Brian would love to talk about that. Um,
nah, we're good. We're good. We'll save it for another week.
yeah,
I'm sure they'll lose again.
Man, we'll getting into. I appreciate that, Ryan. To getting into the great debate for this week. Quickly, I just wanted to get you guys' opinion on, with everything kind of wrapping up in NFL, or not wrapping up, coming past the halfway point in NFL, and all these teams kind of bottleneck. And your guys' opinion, who would you say is your guys' most surprising team or underrated team at this current time?
All right, I'll
Ooh.
go first.
all right.
I mean, you take a break. You've been talking a
Oh,
little bit.
thanks, buddy. I
All
know, but
right,
I'm so
all right.
excited.
Rest those vocal cords. No, I think the most underrated team, uh, from the very beginning has been the Pittsburgh Steelers, because nobody really gave them a chance in this division at all. They probably won't win their division because the Ravens look like they're gonna take control of the division and keep it. But I think they still could make the playoffs. If the season ended right now, they're in the playoffs. But we still got another half a season left to go. But listen, they got like a very veteran team. Their defense is one of the best. If their pass rush can get home, their secondary is suspect if the pass rush doesn't help them. But you could say that about a lot of defenses. And Big Ben he started off a little rough. He hasn't been great. He's definitely lost quite a bit, but his veteran leadership is kind of pushing them along offensively. Like he's not really making huge mistakes, but he's also not really pushing the ball downfield. So they're kind of like a vanilla offense. So they do have to win close games, but they're built to do that, and they got one of the best running backs in the league right now. Definitely the best young running back, and I, it's going to come down to how well their offensive line can hold up and stay healthy and keep Ben upright. And if their defense can continue to get pressure, they'll continue to win games. And I think people just misjudged them from the get go. And
Is he one of the best running backs though?
Yes,
I
we're
mean,
not getting
he's
on
he,
that. It's not with. It's not a question. It's not even
you got to
close.
remember the offensive line he's running behind is so bad.
Yeah, they're terrible, and he's still
Like,
productive.
yeah, stat wise, he is not going to be off the charts yet. That's because their offensive line is really bad. He's rushing the ball like 20 to 25 times a game, I feel like.
oh
You
he
know?
definitely is. The last 4 weeks he has like rushed
And
for
he's
23, 24, 26, and 22.
yeah,
Like
and he's
the
struggling
volume
to
is
get
king.
he's getting like 3 yards a carry or something like
Yeah.
ridiculous because the line does not block. He's getting everything on his own. So that's why I said it. Their season is going to hinge on can that offensive line like even hold up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the only thing I would say to that, I do think that they're underrated, but the only caveat I would say to that is they have one of the hardest schedules going forward. They have to play the Ravens twice. They have to play the Browns again. They have to play Cincinnati again. They have to, I forgot what. I think they have to play the Chargers. I think the easiest game I think is the Eagles if I'm not mistaken. That's it. But other
Yeah.
than that, they're gonna have a tough road ahead. So I don't know how they're gonna fare in that regards. With all those teams are trying to make their little push too.
I think that defensively they match up very well against Baltimore. Baltimore likes to pound the rock, and that's going into the teeth of that defense. And so those games are going to come down to how well Lamar passes the ball. Because
Lam-
if he passes the ball well, then they'll win for sure. But
Lamar's on fire right now, so I don't want to see Lamar.
he's
He's
Oh,
gonna win the game. Whatever he's doing, he's gonna win the game.
I'll
He can
give you
run,
this.
pass. He's gonna win the game.
He's been lately. I'll give you this on Lamar. He has been doing things to win games,
Mm-hmm.
but the passing stats are still meh.
We're not gonna get on that. Not today. Not
Yeah, I'm
today,
just saying.
he's a winner. That's it. That's all that
Exactly.
matters.
Hey, if he is a winner, good for him. That is a very good intangible to have.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead, Ryan, or you want me to do it?
Yeah, I'll do mine. I wasn't gonna give Brian the satisfaction to do the Patriots because I wanted to do the Patriots, and also the definition of what we were talking about is most surprising team, and Brian is not going to be surprised by the Patriots in any way because he can predict the future and he
All the
knows
time.
what he sees with the Patriots. But I will say I am a little bit surprised with the Patriots' will to win. Granted, they've had a little bit easier schedule. The only game I'm pretty impressed that they won was the Chargers game. Carolina obviously is just not it right now, and then they played the Jets, and that was they're on a 3-game win streak. Other than that, like they're losing games I thought they would lose, but their defense is what I want to talk about. They went from losing a defensive player of the year in Gilmore, and now they're still leading the league in interceptions right now. Like their secondary is playing pretty well. They're not getting they're getting a lot of pressure with their defensive front, but they're not getting a lot of sacks, which I mean, except for what's his name? What's the Judon? He's getting a lot of sacks, but like he makes up for like 50% of the sacks.
Yep.
Like just him. He's the only one that's getting there. They need someone else on the other side. So Lord knows Bill's chomping at the bit to get some more defensive help this year in the draft. Now that they got their quarterback situation figured out, I do think that I'm impressed with how they're playing defensively. Mac Jones is kind of what I thought he'd be. He's just managing to not throw the game away. Surprisingly, he is turning the ball over a ton. So, I mean, which you can expect from a rookie. So this is not an indictment on, or this is not a boost on Mac Jones. I don't think Mac Jones is now the second coming of Brady or in any regard, but they're showing that they can win games with him. And I don't think the Patriots are going to win 13 games. I don't think that they might get to 10. So
Is this the most surprising team or the most team you got hate for?
I'm trying to temper expectations because I am most surprised because I had the Patriots winning 8 games, and that was obviously with Cam Newton at the time. But I think that they will probably get like if I'm a betting person, I'm taking the over on the 8 games, obviously, because all they need is three more wins and they're already at 8. So I mean, I would take the over. So in that regard, yeah, they're the most surprising to me because they'll probably win 10 games this year. But it would be I'm trying to temper expectations because Brian's like, see, I told you guys, 13 wins. Here they come. They're about to sweep. But they have some tough games coming up. They got to play Cleveland. They got to play the Titans. They got to play the Bills twice. Jacksonville looks like a monster team. They just took it to the Bills. But yeah, I could see them having some trouble. But I think that they're gonna be a playoff team more than likely this year.
Yeah, I would say something to it to be like, no, they're not. But you kind of bashed them for us, so I don't even have to add to it. I know Brian's gonna have to put his flavor in your ear. So go ahead.
Listen, I just wanted to really quickly cover the quarterback turn the ball over situation. I got a little stat line for you. First 9 games for a particular player: 61% completion percentage, 1,800 yards passing, 13 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. That wasn't even a rookie. That was second-year player Thomas Brady. So, relax. It's his first year, so let's not think that Mac is necessarily not going to be like good. Okay. And oh, by the way, they won the Super Bowl that year with Tom Brady. So I'm not saying that the Patriots are going to do that because it's never been done with a rookie. But
See what
I'm
you
just
did,
saying,
Ryan?
don't get too like emotional about the quarterback situation. It's
Oh my God,
doing
for-
just fine.
The
This is
stats you
Ryan's
just
team.
read, I know, but the stats you just read for the Patriots or for Tom Brady
Yeah.
is like the one time that has worked out. Whereas I could probably read those similar stats for AJ McCarron, Derek Carr,
Brady
like
Quinn,
Brady,
Well,
yeah, like
the problem is
Griffin the third. Like, go
the
down
problem
list.
is AJ McCarron never started enough games, so to get to 9, so you can't even bring up his stats. I mean,
We don't care.
listen,
Alex
I was just
Smith,
I
like
was just making a comparison. Don't jump
okay,
down my throat. I'm just saying like anything can happen. You can also look
Yeah,
at Peyton Manning, led the league in interceptions his rookie year. I think he turned out fine. So
we're not talking about longevity and Mac Jones. We're talking about right now. What are they going to do? And he's saying, I don't like Mac Jones because he's turnovers, 13-9, whatever he has. Right? We don't
that was
care about
Brady's turnover. That was Brady's
whatever.
numbers.
Anyway, we don't care about Mac Jones and his future. We just care about now.
Okay.
And Ryan
Well,
is making his case.
then I gave you an example of a player who, with the Patriots under Bill Belichick, was successful even with mediocre numbers.
Longevity.
okay,
Again, we
No,
don't
that
care
was
about that.
the year.
yeah. All I'm saying is the Patriots as a team are surprising me because I thought their defense would not do as well losing Gilmore. So as a team, they're playing a little bit better than I thought they would, but it's still a long season, and Mac Jones is not. He's gonna have to play a little bit better for them to keep up.
I mean, it's coaching, bro. I'll be honest. They talent wise, they're not the most talented team. They're very under talented, but they get schemed up,
Yeah.
and that's helpful in winning games.
All right, let's go with Kenny's because I think I like his the most.
Yeah, my surprising team is, and I know my pops is gonna be happy about this, is the Tennessee Titans. And the only reason why I'm going to say they're the most surprising team is because their defense was complete trash in the beginning of the season. And I don't know what Mike Vrabel said or if they put some stuff around the locker room for people to be upset that they were just calling him so much trash. That the defense has been playing lights out these last few weeks, and they had a lot of wins, or they had 3 big wins that a lot of people said they had no shot of winning. Kansas City, people said no, they're not. They won.
3 points.
3 points, right? Then you had Darwin, the Buffalo Bills. Nobody said they can win. They won. Then they played no Derrick Henry. Everybody said when they saw Derrick Henry's out, they're done. They're over with. Stick a fork in them. They played the Rams last week and beat the Rams. When the Rams were one of the hottest teams in the NFL, hands down, period. Like they were balling and they came in and their defense stepped up. Of course, they had a couple turnovers from Matthew Stafford, right? He showed his old self from the Detroit Lions days, but they won the game. And everybody's like, Tennessee is okay. But they still are not giving them a shot. They're still saying, oh, well, they don't have Derrick Henry. They're still not going to be effective. But they're just slowly just sweeping under the radar. And if you look at their record inside the whole NFL, the only team that's better than them right now is the Arizona Cardinals at 8-1. And they're 7-2. So they're tied for the second best record in the NFL. So that's why I'm saying they're my most surprising team, just because their defense is playing good. And right now, they're looking effective without having Derrick Henry. And I think if Tannehill continues his effectiveness, they have a good shot. We're going to the playoffs deep.
And didn't they lose? I think Taylor Lewan didn't he? He go down for the year.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's a big hit on the offensive line. I think that definitely the Rams game was the most surprising game. I couldn't believe that happened. Not even just because it was without Derrick Henry. The Rams have been like a really good team, and Tennessee did something to Matt Stafford. Man, they just figured it out. So yeah, I completely agree with you, Kenny. It probably is the most surprising team and most underrated for sure. And I will say this: they've been doing this without Julio too for a lot of these games, and he's just chilling, getting healthy. And when he comes back in the mix, and if he can stay healthy through a playoff push, they might be a force to be reckoned with. So, we'll see.
I think the biggest addition of a big addition of having Adrian Peterson, with a lot of people like, oh, he's not effective. AP still can run, man. Most of the teams he's been on lately, they had no wide receiver support, but having AJ Brown out there and Julio, like a healthy Julio, that's going to be hard, especially if he's running any bit effective, right? They can do a running back by committee and still be effective. So
Yeah, if I was them, I would only give AP the ball like 10, 12 times a game just to keep him fresh.
I think for sure they're going to give him 10 times a game. They're going to get Jeremy McNichols in there. McNichols in there as like the scat back, and then probably put Deontay, let him go in every now and then. But yeah, so
And they have a pretty nice schedule going forward.
yeah,
Look at this. They play New Orleans, Houston, Patriots, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, San Fran, Miami, Houston. That's, I mean, if they keep pushing, and these are all winnable games. Sorry, Brian, they're winnable. They're all winnable games.
Yeah.
If they win out, they'll be the number one seed. And they'll get a bye week, which is just
3.
more. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we can see them. I can see them losing all of them, right?
Well, no.
Oh yeah, they could lose 3 and still make
Right.
be the number one seed with the way that the AFC is right now. Just because they're tied with the Ravens right now for the number one seed currently. And if they need that bye more than anything, because if Derrick Henry can come back and have an extra week and come back for the playoffs and have a fresh Derrick Henry in the playoffs, hitting you during the cold, goodbye.
It's gonna hurt. But yeah, that's what I got.
All right.
Ryan, what we got for Ryan's fantasies?
All right, we're pressing at the time, so I'm just gonna quickly go over the DFS the Vegas reports. So here's some games
juice.
some games I would target. I think Dallas is gonna come out and play lights out against Atlanta. They just got embarrassed. There's no way Atlanta's gonna. Denver's a good defensive team, so they probably schemed up some stuff for Dak that he wasn't able to come back from. So Dallas right now, their implied point total is 32 points against Atlanta. I would definitely target a lot of players on this team. Zeke seems like he has some kind of knee injury. He'll probably play. But he was. I know that there's some practice reports where he was like a little shaken up at the end of the last week's game. So if you like Tony Pollard, maybe he gets a little more work this week. He might be someone that you want to look at in that game. Cordero Patterson on the other side of that ball, if you like to stack that game, he's getting a lot more looks. He's running the ball, he's receiving the ball without Calvin Ridley. He's kind of like a safe bet for like at least 10 fantasy points in a PPR at least. Tampa Bay is playing the Washington football team, so that's another one that's 30.5 implied point total for Tampa Bay. Brady's gonna stomp the Washington football team, and what you like about this, well, he's gonna stomp them because their defense has not been playing well. But what you like about games like this is Heineke has showed that he can kind of keep up with like a shootout type thing. They're gonna lose the game. Washington will lose the game, but I would not be surprised if like McLaurin has a decent game, or if McKissick gets in the end zone a couple of times. McKissick might be the running back you want to look at on the Washington side, because he's kind of the guy that is always getting the ball whenever they're losing games, because he's their receiver out of the backfield. And I don't know what's going on with the shins of Antonio Gibson, but he is just not having it this year. He's been okay, but he's not knocking your socks off. He's like a solid RB2. The Bills are playing the Jets. I love these like games where teams get embarrassed, like Dallas and the Bills, and then they come back and kind of do a little bit of extra against that other team. So hopefully they stomp the Jets in this game. Indianapolis Colts are another one playing Jacksonville. Jacksonville, I get it. They held the Bills last week to 6 points, but I mean, Indy's been playing pretty well. Jonathan Taylor's like a rock solid. He had like a 30. I literally lost a fantasy league last week because of Jonathan Taylor. And then finally the Chargers versus Minnesota. That's another game that I could see potentially being a shootout, especially with the offensive weapons that Minnesota has, the offensive weapons that the Chargers have. So that would be a game that I'd probably want to target as well. But it's probably going to be a super popular game.
So you got any sleepers for us as far as guys that you think are under radar for DFS?
Sleeper guys. put me on the spot. I mean, like I said, I like Pollard this week, especially if Zeke is struggling. That'd probably be my go-to is throwing in Pollard.
What about Benjamin? They're talking about
The
from the Arizona Cardinals. It's
the
kind of like
Arizona Cardinals,
yeah.
Benjamin. I they so Benjamin is a popular pickup because Brian's gonna hate this because he's been calling James Conner RB1 all year. But James Conner is a good running back. He's a decent running back. But when he is the number one guy, like he was in Pittsburgh, he has a problem staying healthy. So, Benjamin might be a kind of a guy that you want to look at, especially throw on the back end of your team just to see if it pops off. Because if they're going to give James Conner all the workload, odds are he's probably going to get hurt, and it's going to be rough. But he had a great game. Brian fleeced someone in our redraft league and got a desperate owner. This is just tit for tat. Like he had a desperate owner that is dealing with a ton of injuries at running back, but has an extra wide receiver. So he got Keenan Allen for James Conner straight up and didn't have to provide anything else. But like that other owner had Keenan Allen as his consistent flex play, and the other guy had like literally no running backs, and he had just lost Chase Edmonds. So it was a good trade, I think, for both parties. Brian definitely got the better end of it. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was just wondering because I looked at and I was like, man, I think that's like a sleeper that's going on the radar. But yeah, that's it. But
All right.
I appreciate that. Let's go straight into BK bets, and I have nothing to say. I don't have any energy because everything is gone out of my body. I am not producing any money for you guys, and I'm on my pursuit of happiness right now. I'm like Will Smith when I was trying to sell that little machinery and I couldn't get it done. That's how I feel right now. So my back's against the wall, and I got to get it done. So what we're gonna do for college? I got a 3-teamer for you guys. By the way, before I get into my 3-teamer, NCAA basketball just dropped. I'm way better. I'm not gonna put a crush for myself. Just look at picks on Saturday. The picks on Saturday for NCAA. There's gonna be more picks. I could be more effective with basketball. Hopefully, I can change this dry spell. But anyway, college football. Get to it. 3-teamer. We got Coastal Carolina playing Georgia State. Minus 10.5, but I'm gonna put it at minus 10 by the hook. Then we got the good old boys in the Big Ten, Mississippi. Oh my bad, Michigan State University. I won't say Mississippi State, but that's who I really want to say. But Michigan State, they're playing against Maryland. They're a 13.5-point favorite. I'm buying the hook on that as well. And then I am going against what Brian likes against the over. He said he doesn't like them. I like this over in this game. I got Michigan versus Penn State, 48. That's what I'm going. It's 48.5.
We just made these rules. No overs. No
We just
overs.
made the rules. We just made the rules.
Oh, that's
Or
Brian's.
he made the rules for all no overs, right? And I was trying to be a little petty by taking a lot of the Big Ten teams. So yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that's that last one's a little risky. Big Ten, big matchup like that. They could be a defensive game.
That's what I thought about a Michigan State game, and they just let up yards.
Well, that's true, but they were on the road against that big powerhouse Purdue team.
No, I'm talking about Michigan State. I'm talking about the Michigan State game. I'm thinking that was a rival game, so I didn't think they were gonna put up points like that, and it was. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, speaking of the rules, we're trying not to bet any games that involve Purdue anymore. I don't know if we mentioned that.
No Purdue and no Iowa.
Yeah, they're out. They don't and me with NFL, I'm not taking it over the rest of the year. Not happening. Not unless we can get this train back on the track.
It's stipulations now, guys. We're costing too much money. We got to put rules in.
Last week I had 2 overs, and they were looking good, and they stalled in the last quarter. They just stalled. But anyways, this week we're gonna get you a win. I have the under in the Tampa-Washington game. I think Washington's coming out of their bye week. They had a chance to get the defense a little bit right. I think they're going to slow down the Bucs a little bit. Still got the Bucs winning, but I think that they're not going to they're not gonna. It's not gonna be a shootout like Ryan is predicting. Sorry for the fantasy owners out there. That's just my prediction. So, and then I got the under in the Philly at Denver game. I think Denver's gonna. They do this to almost every team. They run the ball good. They control the clock, and they play good defense. So I don't see a lot of points going up in that game either. And then my final pick, I have Arizona minus 10.5 at home against Carolina. Yes, even with PJ Walker, maybe he sparks that offense, but sorry, Arizona is just disgusting right now. So that's my picks.
They got a lot of
Stick to it.
injuries on that team.
Yeah.
Who? Arizona.
Arizona's got a lot of injuries, and
Yeah,
I could
I
just see the narrative. They're
Yeah,
Panthers gonna be mad.
Yeah, before we let them go, I just hate when Brian says they're just so nasty or they're gonna beat them or destroy. Every time he says it the last 2 weeks, the opposite team has won. So I wish we could just edit that out.
Who? Who have I said
Against
that
the
about?
Buffalo Bills, they're gonna stomp on Jacksonville.
Yeah, you're right.
Pause.
Yeah, but I think I was with the rest of America on that one. Okay.
The week before, you said another team was gonna stomp somebody, and then they didn't cover either. So I'm like, oh, Brian, don't say it, please, please don't.
Well,
Anyway,
PJ's gonna have like 4 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns, 350. Like, yo. Anyway,
okay.
I would say only bonus pick is Ohio State versus Purdue game. Take the Purdue plus 21. Because if we know anything about these Big Ten guys,
No.
they can't hold their water.
No. Don't put Purdue in a bet. Never. Don't do it. No.
We literally, this is the worst betting segment.
I'm being funny, guys. I'm just saying, don't put that up there.
Kenny told me to do it. I'm doing it.
Kenny said it.
Yeah.
Kenny said it. You said it. You said it. Anyway, guys, man, we appreciate you guys joining us as always. The support, we love it and appreciate it. We're going to continue to give you guys more content. Follow us on all the socials: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Leave comments, subscribe, and then we'll keep putting up videos. And I'll do better with BK Bets. And just follow Action Sports, by the way, too, because we'll have more picks up there as well. You guys have a great weekend. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans again. God bless. Peace.